Alrighty, so to get started, I have my outside and my inside fabrics, and I did mine approximately 9 by 12 inches. You can do them any size. I do recommend doing the rectangle shape for your pattern pieces because it just has that look that you like. So I'm measuring about 4 inches down, and I couldn't get any of my marking tools to work, so you'll see here in a moment I'll actually use pins to mark where I want the casing for the drawstrings to go. So I'm going to mark those and just put the right sides facing together, and then I will sew around all 3 sides, leaving the top open obviously. And now once that's done, I'm just going to clip these corners, and I guess you could say it's really not necessary, but because I'm going to be cutting that away. But I like to do that because it helps me get those seam allowances lined up nice and neat. And what I'm doing here is just getting those lines lined up so that the seams are touching each other on the inside there. And I'm going to hold it in place with a pin, putting the pin just a little bit above so it's not in my way. And with my quilting ruler, this ruler actually has like a triangle marking on it. So I'm going to mark 3 inches for where I want to sew, and I'm going to sew exactly on that line that I made. And I'm going to do that with both sides of the outside of the bag. And then just for clarity, you'll see here in a moment when I finish sewing the other side that it's really easy to tell if you've got everything lined up right. Had a little boo-boo here. First I've got to fix my bobbin. It came out of off the tracks. Stuff happens, you know. So anyway, once I get this side sewn and then I cut that little triangle off, I'm going to just put them together and see if they match up. And they do. My seams matched up, so that's one way you can tell if you're unsure. You could always go back and fix it, but you're going to lose some bag material when you do that. So anyway, so this is the lining of the bag, and what I'm going to do is mark about 3 inches with pins. I'm going to do, you know, a pin on each side, about 3 inches wide, so that I can turn the bag once I have it sewn to the outside of the bag. I'm going to sew all the way around, skipping this hole right here that I'm trying to show you. And then I will do the same technique with the gussets to make the squared sides like I did with the outside of the bag. Alright, so I have the outside and the lining of the bag done, and what I'm going to do is turn the outside of the bag to the right side, and I'm going to put it inside the lining, and we're going to match up the seams. And I just like to lay my seams facing opposite ways, like the outside facing one way, the inside facing the other way, and that way it's not too bunchy. And what I'm going to do is sew all the way around the top. And then once I do that, I will come back and show you the next step. Alright, so we've got that top sewn together, and now we're going to turn it right sides out. So I'm just going to real quickly sew that opening closed. And once that is done, I will push all of the material inside the bag. The lining will go inside. And I want to just kind of finger press, or I don't know how you say it, just straighten everything up on the top, and then I'm going to do a top stitch to keep that nice and neat. And I think this step is important if you're making pretty little decorative bags to put gifts and things like that in. You want it to look really neat, and this step right here, as I was watching the video, I was like, that really made a difference in how it looked. It does. It makes it look nice and neat and well put together. You just want to make sure that you get everything lined up right, because it can be kind of bunchy. So there's that. And now this tricky part right here, as I was editing the video, it just had I had like an aha moment, and I was like, I did this a different way years ago. So there is a better way to do this, but this is the quick, lazy, I forgot what I was doing kind of way. You could actually make a casing on the outside of the bag, but I won't get into that right now. So I'm going to sew 2 lines, and what I did was mark with the pins to kind of help guide me. And I got my lines pretty straight, I want to say. I just kind of, you can't see me on camera here, but I was following my right hand and just making sure that it was staying in the same, you know, kind of even position. But it did, what I had trouble with a little bit was my fabric bunching up towards the end when I got to that last stitch on the first line. So this can be a little tricky, but these are just absolutely adorable bags. So I love making drawstring bags. So right here I am using some bias tape that's folded over, and I'm just going to sew down that open line. And you could sew 2 lines if you wanted it to look a little neater, but you know, you can make just about anything into your drawstring. You can use twine or whatever you want to use, whatever looks good for you. I actually had some twine that I thought would have been really pretty later. I had lots of ideas for this video after I did the video, but I do like the bias tape. I also like it for the color because it kind of has the color of the cone. So if you like this fabric, there will be a link in the description box below. This is actually my design. I designed it and had it printed through myfabricdesigns.com. They're a great little company out of Texas, and I've worked with them several times over the years to get a fabric stipend, and this time was just, I loved it because I was able to design my own fabric. Before I didn't have the ability to do that, but since my first order I've learned to do this. So look at these cute little bags. You'll see that big one was the first one I made, and I made it I think slightly, the width was closer to the top, but you can see they're just the cutest little bags. These just, and I love my little ice cream design here. It's so cute. You could use this as a gift bag, a lunch bag, just whatever. They're so adorable. They're quick, fun, easy to make, and they're great for beginners. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Come back for more. Peace, y'all. Bye-bye.